right.
How are you doing, Guruji, health-wise?
Yeah, Gautam only should say, when is Pratyantar getting over?
Oh, I think it will be over in 1 or 2 days.
1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
So the Mahamrityunjaya is working. We're generally talking about, I said I've been doing Mahamrityunjaya in the mantra.
Oh, okay.
So how does it work?
So warm welcome to all the members here, and we are thrilled to have Guruji with us. And let us start with the prayers. And if we start with the prayers, we'll have to ask Guruji to start with the most important mantra that he usually starts with. Guruji.
Gajananam Bhutaganadi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Falasara Bhakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam.
Om Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
One more time, 3 times.
Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Yeah, please, Kishorji.
So,
see, basically, whenever you say this, you got to connect 3 to Guru, always 3. Okay. So even in the Guru, like when you say Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, again you have 3 there. You have the same 3 in Christianity. I think you have it almost everywhere, and in terms of Trinity, in terms of triangle and everything. So it's always, people say 3rd time lucky. You want to stress something, you want to make it happen, you always tell it 3 times. Later you can try to figure out where else this 3 can come in our lives. Okay. What are the times when we do something 3 times? In Tamil Nadu, we have the Mangalya being tied. 3 knots. Yeah. Pitru Tarpanam is usually 3 generations. Okay. Or in some other angle, it is grandfather, father, and son. So like that, we always have this 3. Why 3 people should not travel together?
yes.
People took this literally, as in most cases in India. Actually, what they meant was grandfather, father, and son should not travel together. If an accident happens, all the 3 disappear. That was the reasoning, but people took it literally. So even if friends are the 3 people, in some parts of India, they'll take 1 stone and count it as the 4th person. Okay, and then say, let's start the journey. Yeah. So in all these aspects, we have, for example, when I do Mahamrityunjaya, I actually expect Lord Shiva to come down and help me. Correct? Is that right?
We are expecting the grace of Lord Shiva and the energy of the divine to heal the suffering and to heal the pain. And also we are doing it because we are atoning for the past life sins, whatever we may have accrued.
Okay.
We are making the divine that give us the guidance and, in Hindi they say Marg Darshan, so that we attain the path of moksha, which is the highest human need. Now, and one interesting fact that I want to share, it was in my back of my mind, but I wanted to... every time I keep missing it and looking at, just you spoke about the Guru, right? So one very interesting fact I wanted to ask or, get a feedback. Why is it that the Guru is exalted in Cancer? Though its Mula Trikona is in Sagittarius, why is it getting exalted in Cancer? Yes, Guruji, please continue. You were saying something.
Yeah. So we have, generally we believe that God himself will come down and help us. So in this, there are 2 parts. One is the mental strength that you get by doing a mantra. You have great faith in the mantra, that the mantra will help you a lot. And so at the psychological level, things change a lot just by recitation of a mantra. Gone through some experiences like this where somebody tells you something and you firmly believe it, and that itself allows you to make it happen because something in your mind gets tuned to it and say that you can do it. Like a coach tells the sports, the person who's playing the game, come on, you can do it. Right? And then something works on the mind. You must have seen a lot of movies where these things happen. And if you really have had anything to do with sports, you might have felt this. Sometimes you lose the game even before you begin the game. That's because you're down mentally. So at the mental level, the mantra works directly. Just because you say this, you're going to become better. Okay. But in the other side of this is the grace of God does not work directly. It's called subtle energy. And these subtle energies will work through situations and events and people in life. All you need is that word coming from someone. So when you're doing all this chanting, you will notice that slowly people will start appearing in your life and they will start giving you some ideas by which you can make things better. Okay, it's always like that. So what is the proof that God does not directly help us? Some proof based on history. God does not help directly,
You mean
but only indirect.
with magical experiences, he doesn't do it, but he does it by sending people who act as nimittas and agents.
Yeah, that's what. But then this could be our own discussion. But I'm talking about, do you have any proof by quoting this or that? You can say, see, here also God is not helping directly. He's
Lord
only
Krishna did, Guruji.
okay. Lord Krishna, can you continue?
Lord Krishna did the same thing. Like he encouraged Pandavas by becoming like chariot to
A charioteer,
to
okay.
yeah
I mean,
yeah
that's
chariot.
only the Mahabharata, but generally otherwise also he was always with the Pandavas.
Right.
And even I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying somebody from India as Lord, because that is a British way of telling something. I would say Sri Krishna. Okay. Sometimes even now I type somewhere Lord Krishna and then I immediately correct it to Sri Krishna. Okay. So Sri Krishna was always with the Pandavas, always. But he was not just with the Pandavas, he was with so many other people also. But the Pandavas are always praying to him, in so many ways. Not maybe the way we pray, but in terms of bhakti, in terms of love and affection. Oh, Sri Krishna is with them, so they don't have to worry, even though they are much, smaller than the Kauravas. So, or even if you don't have this Mahabharata story, you will find that Rama does everything in the human way. Okay. And to cross the ocean, that bit from India to Sri Lanka, he's taking the help of others, right? He doesn't do some magic, and so he's just proving that if things happen in this world, it doesn't happen like what we assume, like magician something will happen, like God will do some, like in the movies they show, like one shot everything is there, the bridge is there right in front of you. Okay, so it's not like that. So you'll have to be very, very carefully looking. I'll come back. So you'll have to be carefully looking around for people and suggestions and hints. And when you do the mantras, your mind will be in a better position to select and make the right choices. Okay, you can make it happen. So when the doctors tell me you need a surgery within 7 days, okay, and I'm pretty scared of surgeries, and especially when it comes closer to the spine, I'm not very comfortable. So in my prayer, I used to say, please don't give me that. Okay. Then there were many people who appeared one after the other. Take this, do this, try this. But how do you select? Whose ideas will you follow? That choice making is the mechanism of God. So if I'm playing a game of chess, I wish Magnus Carlsen was sitting next to me and telling me not that move, this move, and I'll win every game, right? It's only about the choice. That's a wrong choice. He'll definitely say based on the qualification. So I must have seen so many doctors, each one telling a different thing, like in astrology, but which one to take and which one to leave, as we do in astrology also. I don't know which one to take and which one to leave. So it is in this choice making, the choices we have, and then we select the choice to go right side, left side. You go right side, there's a bomb blast on that way. Left side, the path was clear. Don't board that flight because that flight is going to crash. So these thoughts, like how do you choose something? We have heard so many stories like this, missing something by the inch, just 1 second, and the reason was, while you are walking at one particular point, you slow down to look at a beggar, and that 5 seconds delayed something. And then you are not at the spot where there could have been an accident. Then we have stories of karma, also, tightly woven around these things. Like what have you done in the past that gives us the trouble? And then you as Kishorji mentioned, it's almost like a atonement. I'm sorry, God. I'm reaching out to you, the highest source. So whenever you reach God, it's almost like confession. I accept that I'm nothing. I'm not that proud person who says I'm everything. See, this is also one of the reasons why prayers work, because it lowers down your ego, and you get down to earth as you reach out to the heavens, and then you get down to earth. Before the blind chart reading, I just wanted to ask you about, can we list out some paradox in astrology? Any paradox? I hope all of you know the meaning of paradox, right? Any example of paradox? Incidentally, I've been always fascinated with anything that starts with a P and an R sound, like a pra or a par or a per. I've been fascinated with it because I know it's so strongly connected to Saturn. Astrology is a science that is filled with paradoxes. So can you just, before the blind chart reading, at least one by one contribute some? This is definitely a paradox in astrology, and we need to wade through it. Shall I give you an example of a paradox? Or anybody wants to give the first example of a paradox? Are they allowed to unmute?
Yes, Guru.
Oh, sometimes when people keep quiet, I don't know for what reason. Is it the storm before? I mean, they say no, it's calm before a storm. Yeah. Some simple example of paradox. I'll tell you the greatest paradox example. All this was created by God. So nothing exists without God. And immediately you say, how did God then exist? Okay. Or maybe the egg and the chicken, which came first, like that. Any example?
Yeah, whether planets rotating so far away affects our destiny here on Earth. Is that a paradox, Guruji?
I mean, you must make a statement first and then say, I don't think planets can really affect us. You think about it like this.
Okay.
If the moon causes high tides, right? But if you know a little more of science, you'll know it's not because of the moon. It is because of the moon and the sun together that causes the high tides. Okay?
Yeah.
Now that is being used in astrology to say that we are affected by things around us. But how will you use that as to explain that it affects me in a different way and Kishorji in a different way and Karthikeyan in a different way? We all should be affected in the same way, right? So therefore it is a paradox. Or sometimes it's almost like so much reasoning and so much logic is there, and then it is so unreasonable. The sun rises in the east, and then I tell you it doesn't rise at all. Cholesterol is bad. So what is the paradox here?
We need cholesterol to survive. Okay, we need cholesterol to survive.
Oh, okay. You're going to say that, but I'll tell you what's the paradox. We have good cholesterol. Game over. Then what are you talking about? Where cholesterol is bad. Then we have bad cholesterol. Then we'll have to rephrase everything and say good cholesterol is good and bad cholesterol is bad. There is no paradox. Okay. One paradox is if the Maharishi says something, for example, there's going to be loss of wealth in this dasha and antardasha. And if that person comes to us who have sufficient knowledge in astrology before that antardasha begins, and he says, I'm going to start a business. I've already got an approval for 2 crores from the bank. I'm going to start. What will you tell him? To start or not to start? Like Shakespeare, to be or not to be? Okay. How many of you may feel I'm having a particular client in my mind? I told him don't start. And then he didn't start. Now, because of that, he has no losses in business now. But what did Maharishi say?
Loss indication.
Now, what happened?
No loss. No gain.
Yeah, it's okay. But the Maharishi statement has been made false, right?
Yes.
Or you want to say maybe if he had started, he would have gained a lot. And since he didn't start, he lost. So because you said something, the results change. Because you said. Now take example B after A, B. A person comes and I tell him the same thing, don't start, he starts. And he loses everything. Now, no paradox, right? Maharishi said that. It happened. The paradox is then why did he come for consultation? He never listened. But this is not the paradox. The first one is the paradox. The statement itself has been made false. Now, I'll give you a better example than that. When Maharishi says that in this period there is the possibility of death, but do this remedy and that will not happen. That itself is a paradox, right? He makes a statement first and then says this can be made false. Then why are we trying very hard to tell the exact thing in astrology? We are believing that everything is prefixed. So this is a paradox. If everything is prefixed, when
For those who have free will, sir, it will work.
No. My point is something has been stated that this is going to happen, but because we leaked the question paper, that has not happened. How many of you have seen my video, Karma and Astrology Part 1? Anyone not seen? Please watch that video. Okay. So the principal makes a statement, Dhilip, you will fail in 10th board exam in this subject. And because he said that, I didn't fail. Is the statement false or true? I have the horoscope of a couple. Okay. A is the man, B is the lady. A has all the Putra doshas in the world. Just that one horoscope, you can write a book on Putra dosha. B doesn't have. Now, what do you think will happen?
Both will work, sir. In its own way, both will work.
Can you start typing out the answer?
Okay, sir.
A and B. A has maximum Putra dosha. B has nothing notable. Here and there you can, equate something by saying something or the other. See, there is some dosham, but it's not the typical dosham. So both will work means they will have child and they will not have child. Isn't that?
They'll have child with issues with the kids, Guruji.
And B will be very, very much towards the children. Both will have children, but A is distant to his children, but B is very close to the children, to their children.
Okay, so I hope you have typed it out. So in a paradox, there'll always be something that connects them. It won't be unrelated, right? As in synchronicity. In paradox, it will be the same topic. So it won't be unrelated statements. Like when I said sun rises in the east and then say sun does not rise at all. So sun is the topic here. So here Putra Dosham is the topic. Child will be there. If child is there, because this man has the maximum affliction, is it not a contradiction on his chart that even he is able to produce a child? So milk is supposed to be the Amrit for our human beings, right? For human beings. It is on that we initially all grew up, all the mammals, I think. Opposite of milk will be poison. If I mix poison and milk together, what do you get?
Poison, Guruji.
Now you are saying only one. You are not saying both. Actually, theoretically, it is both milk and poison, right?
Yes, Guruji, but one drop of poison will make the milk poison only.
In that case, why didn't you say the poison of A, when it mixes with B, you'll only have no children?
Because individually they'll have their own karma, Guruji.
But we are talking about karma all the time, right? When you talk about astrology, you're always talking about karma. So when you talk about astrology, how can you say there is also karma? It's understood, no? They're one and the same. What is the karma of person A, the man?
He must have killed.
So you want to say that he will have a child, okay? I'm keeping in mind a real example, okay? Whenever I talk, I always have somebody in mind. So that gives me more clarity than speaking just theoretically. Now they have a child, a son. The son is very handsome, healthy. Is it not a contradiction on the horoscope of A?
Yes, Guruji.
It is a contradiction, right? So we have to accept the contradiction. But many years before I told them, you try any number of IVF, you're not going to have a child at all. And they never had a child. This child is adopted from an orphanage. Some of you got the answer a little, some of you said something that's actually also correct. Or maybe Pavni herself said, or I don't know who was saying. I didn't notice. Always get mixed up with the female's voice. Even after this event, the man gives a lot of hardship to the child. But between the mother and the child, 0% problem. Okay?
Good
Now, if they have not tried IVF and failed again and again, you may now argue that it's because I said adopt a child, they adopted. Otherwise, they might have had a child. Correct?
Yes.
So now we have bigger headaches in partnerships. 3 people, 4 people in partnership. You'll run out of ideas when you do a reading for 4 people and they're talking about their business. It becomes so difficult. You will not know who is who and who is in the driver's seat. So when you start sharing, as in husband and wife or partners or in a team game, if say India wins a cricket match, it's because of whom the victory happened. The truth is every run by every batsman counted, right? Every run counted. So these are very difficult matters when it comes to astrology. And we also have the interference from other people in karma, that a boy wants to become something, but his parents may change that. The parents may influence. I want my son to become what I never became. So you will see that the horoscope is indicating some particular planets. A particular planet is showing the profession, but somehow it didn't happen. When you start wondering, for example, if you didn't know this background of this couple and you see the son, you will say, see, the lady's Putra Bhagya worked. Now they have a child. In a way, you're right, because the child, the mother treats as though it is her own child. So experientially, it is the same thing. There's no difference between a biological child and an adopted child. If you have a pet, you will realize this. A pet will be almost like your child. Sometimes your own child will be like your enemy. But the main paradox was the first one I said, that you make a statement and because of that, things change. So whatever was first stated is not working. So you'll have to always give space for this, that even though you may give a wonderful reading, not everything will happen as you think it must have happened, because so many other things would have changed all that. If a person goes through many changes in life, from one activity to another, and then again to one more thing, what will his horoscope show? Which activity will it show?
10th house, Guruji.
But the person keeps changing the activity. A railway clerk comes to me and I look at his chart and tell him, you're supposed to be a doctor. But then why is he not a doctor? Is that not a paradox? So this is the reason why astrology is so complex. But do you think that railway job must also reflect in the horoscope? To some extent at least?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
It should.
Yeah. It did. I remember that chart very well. So I said, this job is because of your father, influence of your father. It so happened that father passed away and the railways gave him the job.
And the father worked in railways, sir?
Yeah.
And the combination that resulted this transfer of the job, sir?
No, I just saw that he had great many things for being a doctor. So it is now, using common sense, I know he cannot become a doctor, considering his age. Then I said, try something else. Like what? That day on my tongue, this word appeared. try homeopathy. You ask me why did I say that? I have no idea. He is now
Sir, he's
at least-
already in railways, sir, and he wants to
Yeah.
change the job once again.
No, he doesn't want to change.
Oh.
He's saying it's so boring. He says life is so boring.
And he started homeopathy learning, sir.
Yeah, he started just because I said he trusted me for some reason. Now you can argue whether maybe it was in his fate that he trusted me. He quit his job and then studied this homeopathy. Now he's having an income that is maybe 10 times the income of an allopathy doctor.
So which combination? The second lord in the seventh or like combination?
Astrologers never say.
Ah.
It is not because of one combination I said this. There were too many things pointing to that. Okay.
Maybe these Purva Vasanas, they will have, the people will have this, they just want some hint, sir. Maybe you gave that hint and he catched the point.
Yeah. No, but when I made these statements, they were on well-founded principles of astrology. But that is not the point here. The point is, why didn't he become that before? That was the point, okay?
Sir, could it be the Dasha Mahadasha, sir?
Yeah, there was a Dasha connection, but that potential that he could have been a doctor even before that was always there. Just that he didn't get that, the situations because father passed away and his family is in trouble, right? So on sympathy grounds, the railways offers his son the job.
But if we wholly look from astrology perspective, sir, like the karma should get the timing for it to do it also, right, sir? So maybe it was in his karma to experience something before coming to, to medical part.
When you're talking about a horoscope, why do you say horoscope separately and then karma separately? All of you are now talking like that. There is something in his karma. You seem to be making it look like they're two different things, right?
No, sorry, I meant in his horoscope also it should be there, right? Like if he has done that, then it should be indicative in the horoscope also somehow.
Which one?
To him going to railways.
That we already said.
Okay.
He had connections for that. There was a sun connection to it. There was some, so many other things pointing out through the sun. And incidentally, the medical system is also ruled by the sun. It's a fight between Saturn and sun. So there was some common point. But in terms of the financial side, the salary he was getting was almost meager when compared to what he's now getting through this new job. You understand? Now, the paradox is, if he did not meet me, then what would have happened? Just try imagining things.
He could have become like a patient, Guruji.
He'll become a patient. Is that what he's saying?
Yes, Guruji.
Something related to hospitals. This way or that way, he will be related to hospitals. That is.
No. Will he lose his railway job?
He's not going to.
You would have continued with the same jobs.
He would have continued the same job.
Yes.
Then what exactly is fate? There's nothing like that. That what he will become is already there, or it is completely in our hands.
Somehow he may get guidance, sir, in that direction. Guidance is important. Getting guidance is important, right, sir? Through you or some other guidance, through some other people. If he is bored, then he will ask many people, right? He will bring the topic, one way or the other.
So you might be the motive to change the job.
He must be having
So suppose
those thoughts earlier as well, Guruji.
Suppose this one he had thoughts about it earlier.
Yeah, and maybe his Jupiter is also strong, and you giving the same idea would have encouraged him to change his thought.
No, I remember this so well because he was shocked to hear me saying doctor. He started laughing. He never even thought about it. Okay, now we have another way of answering this. Somebody said he might have gone to another astrologer and he might have said, become a doctor. Would that astrologer also say homeopathy instead of acupuncture, instead of Ayurveda, instead of some other healing science?
Some healing arts.
If you look at the horoscope, will you also say homeopathy is the best?
No, sir, no, for sure, no.
Then what would have happened to his fate?
Again, the same thing, Guruji, like a patient.
How many of you
Sir,
would
maybe,
say?
sir, he will be also successful in acupuncture or something, healing arts. It
So
should not be homeopathy.
by looking at his chart, all of you will say become a doctor instead of staying in a railway as a railway clerk. Have you ever done that to anyone in your life where you said quit your job and become this?
No, Guruji.
No, quitting, no, sir, but the indications we can tell, sir, right, sir? The chart indicates jobs in these areas. Like.
Okay, so fine. So we'll hand over the class to Kishorji. Let him do the blind chart reading.
That was an interesting discussion. We have a lot of situations like that. In fact, one of the paradoxes, since you asked from astrology point of view, I had posted a question, but I think many people did not think about it. The question was, why is Jupiter exalted in a sign which is 8 from its Mulut? Or why is it exalted in Cancer? So you can send your answers while the session is going on. And in the end, let's see what is going to happen. So today's chart is coming up for discussion. And today's chart is a very interesting and powerful chart, which I think you will all cherish, enjoy looking at. Let us see what the chart has to show us. I'm going to share the screen. So Guruji, shall I go ahead with your presentation?
Yeah, please.